What is up, YouTube? That's here, and today I'm proud to be bringing you guys my very first Pokemon Legends ZA team building guide. A lot of you guys know that I've been playing in a lot of tournaments recently. We've been getting first place back to back, playing in free-for-all tournaments, which are, the same as the ranked ladder. We've been playing in 6v6 singles tournaments. We've been doing a whole bunch of stuff on the channel, and now we're finally going to get into the meat and potatoes, and that is the team building. Building the right flowcharts, getting the good defensive cores. We're showing you guys how to train your mons, where to get the stuff to train your mons, everything you need to know about competitive battles is going to be in this video. So if you like this sort of stuff, think about dropping a sub on the channel, think about leaving a like on the video, and without further ado, let's get right into it. These are the top cut from our very first tournament that we played. You can see I used Mega Pidgeot, Mega Excadrill, and Mega Gyarados, a triple Mega team, just to be able to hit as hard as possible. And we see every single team realistically has a bulky water type. That's kind of like how the meta works. The first week that the game is out, every single team has like a good bulky water type Mega as their anchor. So I built a team that, instead of trying to beat all those bulky water types, I built a team that takes the kneecaps out and takes away all the support Pokemon that enable those water types, and put myself in a situation where actually my bulky water type, my Gyarados, can outvalue them. So I'm going to talk about how we did that. And if you guys want to actually watch that full tournament, that's going to be this video right here. I'll try and leave a link to it in the description. So getting into the video here, or getting into the write-up, we're going to go down here. So I made this video a few days ago as well, and I talked about the value of Gyarados and how the meta is really built around bulky water types right now. And there's really a couple different ways that you can enable your Gyarados. You can have your Gyarados as a lead and have multiple different mons to swap to. You can swap to a bulky grass type to mitigate damage and then repin. Or you can swap to an electric type and then potentially threaten their opposing Gyarados or bulky water types with electric attacks. It's kind of like how the meta is built right now. A lot of Pokemon on the ranked ladder have a lot of electric attacks just because things like Gyarados, things like Feraligatr, there's just so many good water types right now, and electric attacks are premium this early on in the meta. So one thing that's really important that I want you guys to understand about this video is I didn't just wake up and want to run Reflect Mega Pidgeot with Excadrill and Gyarados. That's not actually how it came about. If we're talking realistically about the things I talked about in this video, we could have the Gyarados, and then you could have a good defensive pivot and a good offensive pivot. And instead of trying to go for those good defensive pivots and offensive pivots, I wanted to make a team that could take out the support Pokemon that let their Gyarados and their bulky water types, succeed at the highest level. So how would I actually do that? We're going to talk about the 5 different versions of this team that we actually made to come up with that idea. So this is version 1. So version 1 was I wanted to feature Gyarados as my lead, and then I wanted to use a Mega Ampharos as a defensive pivot. It's kind of a mixture of a bulky electric type that also gain that dragon typing, and it can pin other Gyaradoses, it can pin a bunch of other stuff, and I felt that Ampharos could be a really good mon on this team. I think a lot of people initially think about using Mega Ampharos when pairing it with Gyarados. And I also wanted to have a good, ground type to be able to swap to avoid electric attacks and then repin those electric types. That's why I had Garchomp here. Now you can see the problem with this team, now the version 1 version of this team, is that after Mega Evolution, all of our mons are just weak to Fairy, and we get massively pinned by a Gardevoir and stuff like that. So this team, while cool and, succeeding at what we want to do, it doesn't have the right defensive typing to actually, pay the bill. So we have to go into the next version of the team. And I want you guys to let me know as well, if you guys are people that take your team building very seriously, how many versions of a team do you actually make before you get to your final form? Usually it takes me 4 or 5, swapping out one Pokemon, changing some move sets and stuff like that. But let me know in the comments below, and let's talk about version 2. So version 2, I swapped out the Garchomp for an Excadrill, right? It's going to be Mega Excadrill, it's just that it doesn't show that on the showdown sprite here. But I think that this is a much better version because you have the Gyarados here, and then you have the Excadrill. Now you have a Fairy Resist, and you still keep everything the Garchomp was really doing, but I just think Excadrill is a much better Pokemon. And then the Ampharos there is still just doing its defensive, pivot, role. I think Ampharos is a little bit of the weak link here. And so once I got to this version of the team, I played about 10 games on ranked, and I realized that Ampharos was just too slow. I didn't really have a lot of value out of the Ampharos, and it was so reliant on Mega Evolution when I wasn't Mega. It was just absolutely feeding. So Ampharos got the axe in this one, and we're going to move on to the next version. So version 3 is where we actually started to get some good ideas. Mega Altaria is an amazing pivot for both Excadrill and Gyarados. We're getting into that good synergy here. What's Gyarados weak against? When it's in Mega, it's weak to fighting moves. You pivot into an Altaria, gonna have a flying type to resist that. What's Excadrill weak against? Ground moves, fighting moves, fire moves. Those are all things you can pivot into an Altaria and mitigate. We have really, really good, synergy here. Unfortunately, Mega Altaria is very similar to Mega Ampharos, being very reliant on the Mega, and then even when it does Mega, it just gets like a 110 base special attack stat, so it's actually like not that great. It's really cool. I plan on using Mega Altaria very soon, but it just didn't really work. The team felt very clunky. While I had really good defensive, synergy, I couldn't really close out games, so I decided to go to another version. So getting closer, I cut the Mega Altaria for a Mega Salamence, right? I wanted to keep the same like dragon typing to mitigate fire, a flying mon to mitigate like ground and fighting moves and stuff like that, and it gives me a much needed boost to my offense. So the problem with this was I overcommitted a bit. Now the team is like 3 sweepers. We have amazing offensive typing, but like now we're just like way too frail. We kind of went 1 for 1. Every single time I'd get a KO and I get KO'd. I'd get a KO and I get KO'd. And that's okay. You know, you can win games with this. I won plenty of games with this on the ranked ladder with this as well, but it wasn't really what I was trying to get. I wanted just a little bit more value. And so I started thinking of like, if this was old school Pokemon, how would I get that value? I would set screens, I'd set intimidates, I'd be using status moves and other, outside of the, just standard 1v1 mechanics to give my Pokemon a competitive advantage over other Pokemon. Find ways to like raise our base stats. And so that's when I settled on this team right here. And that's going to be the one built around Mega Pidgeot with Reflect. It's kind of weird that Mega Pidgeot gets Reflect in this game. I don't think it's ever gotten Reflect before. And for those of you guys asking, it does not get Light Screen. You cannot go dual screen Mega Pidgeot. But Mega Pidgeot does a few things right for this team, right? It lets us, get a screen, and then from there, depending on what 3 opponents' Pokemon we see, we can go into our Gyarados if we want to pin things, we can go to our Excadrill, set up a Swords Dance, just start going to town and stuff like that. I think it's really solid. Or what we can do is if people are leading like grass types and other, like a lot of people lead Metagross right now, it's a very solid lead. You can just like Heat Wave that like right in its face. Like they don't want to deal with that. They're going to be setting like Reflex and stuff like that. So I think the Mega Pidgeot is very underrated. You can soak a little damage with it, make your opponent kind of force their hand, and then you repin them with your actual big sweepers. I think it's a really, really cool mon. And then also as well, like Mega Pidgeot really helps cover up for Pokemon that would give Mega Gyarados and Mega Excadrill a hard time. Like a Meganium, for example, gives both those Pokemon a pretty hard time. Bulky grass types are kind of problematic for this team. So I think that like Mega Pidgeot provides like much needed like support in the use of Reflect, and then great like special attacker coverage. Also, it makes it so we're not running 3 physical mons. 3 physical mons is really hard because your opponent only has to set 1 screen. Mega Pidgeot still forces your opponent to respect both of our screen options, and it's good against the mons that set screens, like Meganiums, like Metagross, and stuff like that. So I think Mega Pidgeot was like surprisingly good. I think it gets like a 135 base special attack. So you can see we EV trained it heavily in special attack and HP, and I think like HP is generally pretty good this early on in the meta. I think there are situations in which you might want a little bit of speed on some mons. You might actually want a lot of defense on some mons. But yeah, I think Mega Pidgeot is pretty good. And so taking a look here, these are like the 5 different versions of this team. I played multiple games on the ranked ladder with every single version of this team before I finally figured out the one that I wanted. And I would implore you guys to do the same. I think it's actually really important. And another cool thing about this team, I wanted to talk about this, putting Mega Pidgeot at the front instead of Gyarados at the front really allowed Gyarados to like, play to its fullest potential. Like if I was going to lead Gyarados and they led an electric type, I'd have to swap to Excadrill. Now, when I lead Mega Pidgeot and they lead Excadrill, I get a Reflect and then I still get to do it extra. So it's actually more valuable to do it that way. And then my Gyarados isn't just like sitting out there all willy-nilly, kind of just like waiting to get KO'd by their first thing, because every single thing has like a pocket Thunderbolt or Thunder Punch. Like we get to do what we want with Pidgeot, and then we go into like Excadrill and stuff like that. It's really, really good. I also wanted to talk a little bit about the moveset testing that I did, because there was a fair bit of like testing that went on. So initially my Mega Pidgeot moveset was Protect, Heat Wave, Hurricane, and Reflect. And in doing so, I found myself in situations, especially when I was already Mega Evolved, where I'd get my Reflect up, and then like I'd go for a Hurricane, and like they'd block it. They'd pick up Protect, or they'd use like a Dig or like a Bounce or something. And I'd really want to use another Hurricane because it's my big stab move. And I couldn't because it's on cooldown. Same thing goes for like Heat Wave. I'd go for like a Heat Wave and like, I don't want to blow my 1 Hurricane. I got to save this. This is my delete button. So actually adding that second, flying type coverage move, being also a beam move in Air Slash, which is really, really nice. The beam moves are going to stick on the board a lot longer, be very solid. I think it really added a lot of value to the Mega Pidgeot set. So hopefully, you guys agree with that as well. I think Protect could be good, but I don't think I really need it on my screens mon. I'll just soak the damage or swap. That's the whole point of it, right? So I also tried Excadrill with Dig over Swords Dance and Brick Break over Iron Head because I know screens are very popular. I would have a moveset of like Earthquake, Drill Run, like, you know, stuff like that. But after playing with this Reflect, I realized I could almost always just soak damage, go for a Swords Dance, and then just melt everything with like Drill Runs and Earthquakes. You don't need a lot of coverage. I do think that like Iron Head ended up being just like a little bit better. That would probably be the one move I would cut if I wanted to cut something. But like, you know, Iron Head's still good. Triple ground move is hard to play, but at the same time, like in a free-for-all game, I like the triple ground because like in a 1v1 it's rough because they can just go to their flying type. But in like a 3-player free-for-all, there's always someone that you can like one-shot with an Excadrill. So I really, really like that set. And so I also wanted to review a little bit of like how to actually get these mons in game, because I feel like people, they watch these team building guides and some people know everything. They have the game beat, they have everything unlocked, but some people don't know and they're like brand new to the game. So I'm going to talk about how you can get these mons, where to get them, everything about training them as fast, effectively as possible. So catching all of these mons. So all 3 of these mons are caught as alpha Pokemon. Catching alpha guarantees 3 max IVs, random. So like your attack, your HP, your speed, any of those, it's random, can be maxed, which are perfect for the start of the game. And they also come with a fully EV trained HP stat, which I think is really, really good. It's great for players just looking to get into the game, and it saves a ton of time. Now, I want to do a disclaimer here. I feel like a lot of people have said this. They say that like alpha Pokemon, they're so big. Like, you know, alpha Pokemon, look how big this, where's our Pidgey at? Look how big it is, it's so big, right? And they think like, what, it's just a bigger hitbox, like, you're just going to take more damage from everything. And that's probably true, but like I haven't actually confirmed or denied that. In my testing, I have not noticed that like my Pokemon take up so much more space and their hitboxes are so much bigger. I'm sure that like that's probably true. I just haven't like actually ran the numbers. Like there's a lot of frames and stuff involved. And so what I'm saying is it's negligible. Like you definitely can just use alpha Pokemon. They come fully packed with the max HP EV spread, which is going to be really bulky and good for this game. And those 3 max IVs are really, really important. Pokemon like Gyarados and Excadrill need to be max attack to actually get those one-shots on opponents, especially when you factor in some mons using like stat boosting moves and reflex and stuff like that. So it's actually really, really important to have the max IVs in the stats that you can without having to go into like bottle capping, a bunch of other stuff like that, especially if you're still like, you know, getting mons just to play for rank to unlock their Mega Greninja Stone. So that being said, let's get back into this. So Alpha Pidgey can be caught in Wild Zone 1. If you go back to Wild Zone 1 after beating it, after, you know, doing the quest line that lets you actually unlock Alpha Pokemon, Mega Pidgey is right there on the top. You can catch it, easy peasy, lemon Pidgey squeezy, easy peasy, right? Alpha Magikarp can be caught at Wild Zone 2. Again, if you go there after completing the first quest which unlocks Alpha Pokemon, you can just catch Magikarp. It's in the very back. Any of the other Magikarps can also spawn into an Alpha Magikarp. And then Alpha Excadrill can be found in Wild Zone 14. So this is a little bit later in the game, but it's not that hard. And then all you have to do is just like level these Pokemon up. And you don't actually have to get them to level 50 to do tournaments, to do ranked, anything like that. You can just have them be at whatever level they are, and they will get auto set to 50. Even if they're over level 50, they'll get leveled back down to 50 and what their respective stats would be. And we're going to talk about what their stats need to be in just a sec. But this is exactly where you get all the Pokemon. After that, all I had to do was EV train their offensive stats. Because remember, since I'm using 3 alpha Pokemon, they come fully EV trained in HP. So what I did is I bought 24 calciums from the Pokemon Center for $5,000 each. And then I used them on Pidgeot. In addition to 4 special attack feathers, I also used 4 defense, 4 special defense, and 4 speed feathers to get this EV spread shown here. Now, the value of this EV spread is this is a more optimal way to use all of your points. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys are familiar with a 252, 252, 4 set. Now, the reason why we want to use something like this instead is because, like, let's say we max this to 252, and like our set looked like this. Right? That's what a common like Smogon set would look like. Well, battles are different at level 50, and EVs are different at level 50 than they are at level 100, which Smogon plays on. And so what you can actually do is the first 4, you can see, that's how you get a point. So the first 4 give 1, and after that, it's every multiple of 8. So the first 4 get a point, then 12, then 20, then 28, etc., right? So what you can actually do is you can put your 4 here, and then you can take 8 off of any stat you want, be it this one or this one, take it down to 244, which is the next number, the next bump, and then you put the last 4 into this. So you actually cut that last 8 up, which was only giving you 1 special attack, into a speed and a SpDef. So it's a little trick you can do to get 1 more stat point. Little little bit of optimization going on over here. Now that being said, I could have taken out HP. I would have had to take out some HP EVs through the use of like the EV reduction berries. I think this is fine. Just makes your Pokemon a little bit bulkier. Not that Mega Pidgeot really needs the speed or SpDef, but like it's just an extra way to get more points. I would say if I had to completely redo this spread, I would probably drop this down to probably the bump, which is probably right around there. You see how when you combine your nature with your EVs, you get a 10% boost whatever stat you're doing it in, and there are certain benchmarks where you get an extra point. See how that 8 points goes from 185 to 187? I'd probably do something like this into this Pidgeot set, or maybe even like something along the lines of like that. Maybe even something like, like that might be even just a little bit better. But that being said, what I showed you guys just for the start of the video is fine. Like, EV spreads are going to get a lot more complicated the more people like learn about the game and the more that people start calcing. Using a damage calculator is also pretty significant as well. Again, we were talking why you actually have to have like your max stats on these mons to be able to correctly KO things once they have like curses or reflex involved too. Otherwise, you would just miss those KOs. You leave them like dangling at like 10%, and then your other opponents in the game will just swoop in and pick up a KO. So you don't want to do that. You got to have the right stats in the right places, and so that's how we found out this Mega Pidgeot set. So, I also used a modest mint, which you can buy from a flower vendor for 20,000 Poké Dollars. And I could have went and EV trained all of these Pokemon like the old-fashioned way with power items, which we're also going to talk through here. So for Excadrill and Gyarados, I EV trained them the old-fashioned way with a Power Bracer. You can get this EV training item that gives you additional 8 attack EVs every single time you KO an opposing Pokemon, and it doesn't matter what EVs those Pokemon give. You can KO something that gives speed, you'll still get this extra 8 attack if you're holding the Power Bracer. So if you're going to be EV training multiple stats at the same time, it's actually really cool. You can unlock this item early by completing the side quest, side mission number 38, Chasing Status. You can get it early, or at the end of the game, you can get it from wherever you like buy the Mega Stones with all of the different like Mega Shards and stuff like that. So, and then after that, I went to Wild Zone 13 and KO'd every single thing that was not Vivillon. All of them give attack EVs except for Vivillon. So what you can do is just search at night. You'll be able to KO everything. There's potential for like, Alpha Trevenants, Alpha Scythers, things like that. And you just like dump truck like everything. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. It's pretty nice. So being able to dump truck all those guys, absolutely amazing. And you just get, it only takes you like 5 minutes and you have like 2 max attack Pokemon. After you get to max stats, which is right here, we get the 254 up here, you just take the Power Bracer off and put it on the next one, and then you just continue. So you have them both in your party. The way the Power Bracers and all the power items work is they have to be in your party. They do not need to be the Pokemon that deals the finishing KO, but they have to be in your party while you're actually, getting the experience. And you just got to make sure not to KO anything else. So you don't want to use a lot of like AoE moves. Use a lot of like single target, or maybe even homing moves that, like Psyshocks and Thunderbolts to KO those things. Because you don't want to KO like the Vivillons and then have to use like EV reduction berries to get that stuff off. So that's pretty much it. Again, this whole write-up, as well as a bunch of our other like Legends ZA content, is going to be up on Patreon. I know there's a lot of people that like to have this stuff in like note written form, so that's why I still put it up on that website. But that being said, the team that I made, I think was pretty good. I had a lot of fun with it, and yeah, let's actually hop into some games and show you guys just how this team plays on the ranked ladder. I've had a lot of people, come up to me on like Twitter and like Twitch and when we're streaming live and stuff like that and say like, yo, I used your team, I got the Greninja Stone, and like, I just want to say like, I appreciate you guys reaching out and coming and checking out the other platforms. So let's go and play some games and hopefully get some wins and showcase how to actually use the team in real games. All right, so while we're waiting for this game, I want you guys to let me know if you have any questions at all, whether it be about like team building, whether it be about like EV training, what certain stats do, what certain mons you think are good or bad. Like, let me know if you have any questions at all in the comments. I want to do my absolute best to help you guys if you guys have anything you actually want help on. And so let's go into this matchup right here. I just want to play the game. The game's a lot of fun. I'm having a great time playing this, and hopefully I can help you guys on your own Pokemon journey along the way. So what map are we getting? I want the vertical map if I can. If I can be a little bit of a chooser here, because it's Gyarados' best map. Remember, we are using like Mega Pidgeot and like Mega Excadrill, but like this is a Gyarados team, and just being able to slam waterfalls up and down those alleys is amazing. This is also a fine map. I think this might be my personal favorite map, but let me know what your own favorite map is in the comments. Here we go, Mega Pidgeot. And let's set those reflex. Let's get those reflex up. So Embor, is it Skarm? That was a Shandy. It's fine. I'm still going to set a reflect versus this. Normally you'd want to head towards a physical attacker and reflect, but like we can soak some damage here. Alright, he got popped. Whoa, we both got popped. Something popped us. Weird. Alright, Scrafty here. So what we're going to do is, you know, try our best to pin that thing. Get my reflect up. I'm going to go for a hurricane into this guy. I can definitely take this guy out. Dumpy. We're on the board. Mega Pidgeot. Heat Wave. Air Slash finish. Yo, we gaming out here. That's fine with me. I got a KO. Like, I got 2 KOs with Mega Pidgeot. That works for me. And we forced the Mega Aggron. Like, that works. I'll go Mega here. Mega Scrafty, huh? I got a reflect, bro. Don't care. Don't care. See, you only got 1 super effective move. We're fine. And we're fine. That Embor is so low. All right, we're going to go into Gyarados here. Reflux should still be up. It should be a great time for Gyarados here. Gyarados is pretty good into their team, too. We want that buff if possible. What are they going to come in with? It's their Gyarados. We don't want to get Thunder Punched if we can help it. See, he threw the Thunder. I ran away and he auto-targeted the Thunder Punch into the Dragonite, or into the Garchomp. That's funny. Okay, that's actually really dicey. That Garchomp is scary. I can just let him do his own thing. There's no reason for me to be weird. Bounces up when he bop on cooldown. EQ. Great swap here. That was great. That was smart. Cool. Yeah, that Garchomp is like actually really scary. Alright, Pidgeot. Carry me. Block all that damage? Yeah. Get ready to put up some hurricanes. Look at that damage! Pidgeot, the GOAT. I'm Pidgeot's strongest champion over here. Right into that. I got a reflect up. We got 5 KOs. We're cooking. I'm a poppy, bro. Ah, you got me. Good job. Alright, so that Embor is like really set to carry here. I think I have to come in with Gyarados and... Oh my gosh. We lost. I think we got second though. So like I think that's, you know, we still did like every single thing you would realistically need to do to play this team correctly. We got a lot of Mega Pidgeot value. Let's try and use a little bit more Gyarados and Extra though, because like that person had like the right team for the right situation. That Garchomp just farmed KOs in the middle while we were like explaining what we needed to be doing. That Garchomp was an absolute beast. All right, I just wanted to thank everyone once again for stopping by, watching the video, supporting all the content, you know, checking out the Twitch streams, entering on tournaments. You guys are absolutely amazing. I'm happy to hear you guys are enjoying the game as much as I am. We have the vertical map here. And Mega Pidgeot, or just regular Pidgeot, starting things off. Again, we want to see if we can get that reflect up as soon as possible. Against Mawile, I definitely can. Might as well throw a good old Heat Wave in there too. Mawile's not the greatest lead. It's definitely usable, right? They're going to try and go for us with the Electros in the back. See how we blocked it with the swap there? And we're just going to drill run up. Let's go for the dig. We're going to hit both. Yo, double KO dig, extra drill busted. And we still got those screens up, bro. Bro, where are you looking though? Nice swap. Slow, bro. I can put a screen up here. Or a setup move. Calm Mind. We're going to dig, and then we're going to drill run a chase when they come back. I can live. I live. That's right, you're swapping. And I'm swapping. Ah, you couldn't swap fast enough. Yeah, they came in a little bit too fast. Mega Following's kind of busted there. But I did get a KO. I did KO the mons that I needed to. Alright. Should be able to get here. Where are we going? I don't think I died or EQ. Dompied. Get ready to go to Gyarados here. Nice. Gyarados is up. We're going to bounce into this Mawile because I want to avoid the damage as long as possible. I died. Wow. Cool. We're still in first place, though. Should we reset and get a Reflect up? I think that's probably a good play. Okay. Reflect. Head smash. Am I dead? Oh, look at that. I lived because of the Reflect, though. Oh, but I died because the M-board just beat my whole team up. Well, the Reflect's still active, right? The Reflect's still here. Because it stays through the KOs. Actually, no, it's gone now. I can get that. He's going to head smash me, but, like, I'm going to leave. Yep. Alright, cool. Get our KOs here. Ice Punch, huh? Can I target you, please? There we go. I'm just going to leave. But a little SD while we're here. I don't think I died of that. You're gone. Yep, I'm gaming. Block the drill run. Because I'm a gamer. Let's pop it off. Block that move too. Those are both of its moves on cooldown. This probably won't KO, but like, does get the KO. Cool. Cooking. Yeah, we got 7 KOs. We're doing absolutely amazing. And we do take those wins. So you can see getting up those Reflex really enables like the Excadrill to like go to town. We can soak Earthquakes. We can soak any like super effective physical attack at least once. Same thing goes for the Gyarados side. Let's just like eat Thunder Punches. And you guys can win as many games as you want on the ranked ladder utilizing this strategy too. You don't have to utilize Mega Pidgeot or Pidgeot as your screens user, but I would really recommend thinking about a screen user, at least maybe like a Reflect. I think Reflect going to be a little bit better than White Screen, at least at the start of the game right now, because there are so many physical mons. And that's pretty much it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Remember, we're trying to get to 50K on this channel before the end of the year. If you guys have it in your hearts, drop a sub on the channel, leave a like or a comment on the video. I'd really appreciate it. And please let me know some Pokemon or topics you want to see me feature in future videos. Like I've been talking about, I love this game. It feels like there's so much to do on the competitive side. We've been doing a bunch of tournaments. I'm doing my first team building guide today, and I'm probably going to eventually do a team building guide for singles too, because I actually think 6v6 singles is a very fun and creative format, and it's a completely different style of team building. So if you guys want to see that, let me know in the comments. And other than that, thank you guys so much for watching. Peace out, and I'll see you guys next time.